You're saying that you're refocusing Asia.
Yes.
What were the mistakes that the previous administration was doing towards Asia that you intend to correct?
Well, I don't want to go back to the past. You know, that's over.
Just a little bit of the past.
Well, there was an important election that was held, and the American people made a very definite decision.
Right.
And of course, with President Obama, we have someone who has roots in Southeast Asia. You know, the time that he spent in Indonesia, which was very formative. So we'd rather stay focused on what we can do going forward. Every country has to constantly be asking itself, are we doing the best we can? Are we making the right decisions? And in our case, when we came into office, it became clear that many of our friends in Asia felt like we hadn't been paying attention, that we had been absent. I don't know if that was the feeling here, but we certainly have heard that communicated.
Right.
And the United States is uniquely geographically positioned. We are both an Atlantic and a Pacific power. And I don't think you can do one and not the other, because our interests, our alliances, our partnerships span the globe. And you know, we're not going to pretend or claim that we are the answer to every problem, but we want to be a constructive actor in dealing with the major problems that confront Asia.
What do you think is the biggest threat to peace in the region at this moment?
Well, the threat that I always worry about first and foremost is the proliferation of nuclear weapons and weapons of mass destruction. You know, obviously we're very concerned about North Korea and recent reports about perhaps their dealings with what we call Burma. And,
you refuse to call it Myanmar.
We do. We do. We would like to see a democracy make decisions about the future of a country, and that hasn't yet come to pass. So we are very strongly in favor of putting pressure on that government, trying to make it clear that the future doesn't lie with those who would try to oppress their people and limit the opportunities to a very small ruling group. That is not in the interests of the people of Burma or people anywhere. So we worry about the transfer of nuclear technology and other dangerous
From North
weapons.
Korea, you mean?
We do, from North Korea, yes.
To Burma.
To Burma, yes.
So you're concerned about the closer ties between North Korea and Burma?
Yes. Yes.
How serious is
Well,
your concern?
we're going to explore that in Phuket in talking to all the other foreign ministers who are there. We want to try to focus attention by countries that have a direct relationship or share a border, as Thailand does, so that there can be a united front against that ever happening. I'm not saying it is happening, but we want to be prepared to try to stand against it.
Right.
North Korea is the main focus of your talks this time. How serious is North Korea's threat to United States?
It's not a serious threat to the United States. At this time, its weapons capacity and technological progress is not a threat to us, but it is a threat to other of our allies if it continues, and it is a threat to further destabilization in East Asia, and particularly Northeast Asia. We'll be talking about many important issues here at the ASEAN meeting. I'm very proud that I will be signing on behalf of my country the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation. Of course, the work of ASEAN is just beginning to explore other areas. There was the first ever joint exercise in the Philippines to try to do better on disaster assistance. Yes. So we have a full agenda. But of course, the behavior and provocative actions of the North Koreans raise issues. Because, for example, if North Korea pursues this nuclear program, other countries are going to feel out of their own self-defense necessity that they must also. That produces a chain reaction. It's one of the reasons why in another part of the world we're very concerned about Iran.
Yep.
If Iran acquires a nuclear weapon, then other countries in the Middle East are going to think, well, they have to have one too. And pretty soon you have so many nuclear weapons, and not just in the hands of states, but also non-state actors. And North Korea has been a notorious proliferator of nuclear technology. We know that. So we want to continue to put the pressure, and I must say I'm very gratified that we've had a united front in Asia coming together in the United Nations, passing a Security Council resolution with real teeth to try to go after all of the different institutions and individuals that are part of the proliferation network within North Korea and that supports it outside. So I think we're making progress in creating a very strong response to North Korea.
Who actually gives you more headache? Kim Jong-il, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, General Tan Shui, Osama bin Laden.
That's why I have a headache all the time. you mentioned, obviously, some of the people who we think are playing a very negative role in the world. I have to worry about all of them, unfortunately.
You said on ABC just on Monday that North Korea is like an unruly child seeking attention all the time. What do you mean?
Well, I think if you look at the behavior of North Korea in the last months and going back some years, it is hard to understand what their real objectives are, other than to try to get everybody to pay attention to them. And it's sad because, of course, when you look at the Korean Peninsula, the progress, the success of South Korea, the opportunities that South Koreans have demonstrated to, to pursue economic progress, academic achievement, so much else. And then just across the border, a country that can't or won't feed itself, whose people are literally shrinking in size because they're malnourished, and yet they want to have the world stage when it comes to trying to launch missiles and claiming inaccurately that they launched a satellite. And it, to me, is sad because obviously the Korean people have so much potential, but they are badly governed in the north. And it would be a wonderful change in attitude if leadership in North Korea suddenly said, well, let's compete in a peaceful way. Let's see if our students can't beat your students in competition. Let's have our business people outsell your business people. The kind of competition that we're seeing in Asia, peaceful, very aggressive, even vigorous from time to time. That's how countries should be looking at their future, and we are a long way from seeing North Korea do that.
Back on Burma, if Aung San Suu Kyi is not released, would you be sorry to see Burma kicked out of ASEAN?
Well, that's up to ASEAN. But,
are you going to encourage ASEAN to do that?
Well, I think that it would be an appropriate policy change to consider because the other countries in ASEAN, despite what happens in every country, there are ups and downs and there are problems, but the other countries in ASEAN have made steady progress on democracy and human rights and economic prosperity that is broadly shared. And that hasn't happened in Burma. Now, there is a great debate that goes on. Can you influence the Burmese military junta more by exchanging ideas and engaging with them,
or sanctions
and trying to get their attention and removing them from organizations and the like? It's a fair debate. And I've had the discussion with leaders in the region who have advocated both sides of the debate. But you put your finger on a particularly painful issue for me personally, as well as for my country. We admire Aung San Suu Kyi. We think that the sacrifices she has made for her people, the people of Burma, are admirable and really demonstrate that one person can make a difference by standing up for the rights to determine your own future in a country. And I regret deeply that this unfortunate incident that she had nothing to do with has served as an excuse for her to be put on trial, put into prison, and yes, we would like to see her released. And let me just add that there are a lot of opportunities that could be made available to the Burmese government and people if they did release her. This would open up doors for investment and for other exchanges that would help the people of Burma. So we'll wait and see what their government decides.